Namaskar, good morning, friends. I am Dr. Kamalji Lakhtaria. I welcome you all on behalf of Gujarat University, HRDC. The series of webinar is a brainchild of Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi in support of Dr. Chandrakant Brahmbhatt sir, and the complete project has been taken care by Dr. Preeti Mayani madam. We are listening so many terms nowadays like data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, smart teaching, so and so. For every term, we can't spare 1 week or much time. This webinar is customized, designed to give essence for each and every terminology and how it affects in our academics, how we aware, how we work with such technologies. Friends, today our resource person is Dr. Hardik N. Soni, sir, having 20 plus years experience. At presently, sir is a GTU endorsed director and professor at Chimanbhai Patel MCA College, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Sir has published reference book titled Operation Research. It is published by Practice Hall India. Sir has graduated his BSc, MSc, and PhD from Gujarat University. So he is alumni of Gujarat University as well. Hardik sir is a personality who created, developed so many interactive sessions in the area of artificial intelligence, machine learning, supply chain management, operation research. And today, Hardik sir, I welcome you on behalf of Human Resource Development Center, Gujarat University, to share your webinar in the on the area of artificial intelligence. Friends, I will not take much time. I welcome Hardik sir. Hardik sir, namaskar. Please join the session.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. And thanks for the nice introductions. And thanks for the providing me this opportunity to address the academicians from the different field. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, perfectly, sir.
Okay. So, in today's seminars, my topic is searching for intelligent solutions. So, basically, the we start with the terminology of the artificial intelligence. So, what is the artificial intelligence? So, artificial intelligence is a wide field, encompasses a several subfields, techniques, and algorithm. The field of artificial intelligence is based on the goal of making a machine as smart as human. I mean, we have to make a machines which exhibits the intelligence like a human. Okay. So the terminology, the general conception or the general perception is this: AI is somewhat related to the robot, right? But that is not a case. So, what is the difference between the AI and the robot? So, AI is programmed to think. We have to create a computer's programs, okay, which can think like a human, whereas the robot is programmed to do. It has a certain limitation, uh, and it can do a specific task only. He cannot learn and he cannot think. Okay, there is a wide social interaction in case of AI, whereas here for the robot it has a low level interactions. The third thing, as I said, uh, the AI programs learns itself. How it learns, we will see. Okay, whereas the robot is only a programs. which can do a limited task, only as smart as programs. So these are the basic difference between the AI and the robot. Okay. So what are the areas that AI address, or what are the major problems that addressed by the AIs, which can be summarized in this way: perceptions, second is the manipulation, third is reasoning, fourth is the communication, and finally learning. So what is perception? So perception is concerned with building models of the physical world from sensory inputs like visual, audios, means visual means videos or images. Okay. Manipulation is concerned with articulating the appendages like a mechanical arms in order to affect the desired state in the physical world. Third is the reasoning. So reasoning is concerned with higher level cognitive function such as planning, drawing inference, conclusions from the world, models, diagnoses, designings, etc. This is a reasoning part. The communication treats the problem understanding and conveying the information using the language. And finally, learning. So learning treats the problem of automatically improving system performance over time based on the system's experience. So this is how we can divide the AI's functionalities, and this is a general picture. uh, so we have to plan, or we have to formulate the strategies, then we have to design a softwares, then the development parts, and this operating models. Okay, so these are the stages. And see, in a broad sense, in a broad sense, we can uh, divide this AI components. I'm just putting some notes here. Mm, okay. AI technologies is broadly classified in this way. The first is the sense, which comes under the computer visions and audio processing. The second is comprehended, okay, which is NLP. It means a natural language processes, a knowledge representations, and the third is ACT, machine learning, and the expert system. And in this case, these are the illustrative examples: visual agents, identifying the analytics, cognitive robotics, speech analysis, recommended systems, data visualizations. Okay, but today I will be focused on this part, and I will explain what is machine learning, because machine learning is a heart of AIs nowadays. Okay, so we will discuss on this. Now the question is, why we have to use AI? Okay, so the first is monitoring and alerts about the healthcare or any business solutions. Okay, so this part is this, the statistic says that this is around 6.6 percentage. Okay, then to do the automations, automated data driven reportings. Okay, we want to generate so many reports. Okay, so for this AI is used. Then automation that eliminates a manual and repetitive tasks. It means to avoid the repetitive tasks. Okay, we can make a program, or we can train a machines like that which does the repetitive tasks. Okay, then the communication, as I said, many times you have seen that nowadays every organization is using the chatbots, where you can pose your questions and the machine is replying. Okay, so this is the case. And so these are the areas, or these are the reasons wherein you can consider the AI. Okay, in a broad sense, to divert the traffics in that way, we will get the solution. Of course, in the healthcare, uh, we can diagnose the disease earlier, and the patient or the person will get the treatment accordingly. So this is how it is useful. Okay, for water, even though for the harvesting or for crop yielding, this technology is used. Hmm. So these are the broad areas, or these are the broad sectors wherein you will find the AI applications. Okay. Now, I'm not discussing much about this definitions and the bookish part of AIs. Okay, there is a lot more things I can say, but to just make this session something interesting, I'll focus on how it works. Okay, I will demonstrate you using the one algorithms, which is a part of ML, is a machine learning. Okay, so machine learning is, you can say that it's a subset, okay, or is an application of artificial intelligence that provides the systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from the experience without being explicitly programmed. Okay, so this is a very general perceptions about the machine learning. Okay, we have to make a system which will learn based on the experience, and it doesn't require any interaction of the programmers. Okay, so ML nowadays is dominated form of AI. And it's, so what is ML? So in case of ML is a set of algorithms that enables a software or a program to update and learn from previous outcomes without the need for the programmer's intervention. So this is a main part, is a set of algorithms. Okay, there are many algorithms in machine learning as per your problem or business problem requirements, right? So here in this session we will see a one algorithm, and let's see how it works. Okay, and this is again a same picture, wherein the AI is a superset, machine learning is a subset of AI, and the deep learning is again a subset of machine learning. Okay, now these are the use cases, or these are the areas where we can find the applications of the machine learning. So energy, in the financial services, in the travel and hospitality, in the manufacturing, in the retail business, of course, the healthcare and the life sciences, right? Financial services, or how it works. Let me give you a very simple example. Suppose a bank wanted to identify before, sorry, if a person is applying for the loan to the bank, and bank wanted to identify whether the person can be repay the loan or not. Uh, so by checking only the previous record, sometimes if the bank grant the loan, uh, or he won't be possible, or it won't be the possibility that after scrutinize many of the documents, and then bank can decide whether the loan can be granted or not. But by a simple application, by the previous history of so many peoples. We have to create a one program, or we have to create a one model which can tell us whether we should, or the bank should grant a loan or not. Okay, so this is a small application. Same thing for the healthcare. Suppose you have a certain datas wherein the patient history, uh, the height, age, weight, genders, and so on, and the glucose rate and something like that. Okay, and you wanted to predict whether the person will be a diabetic or not, something like that. Okay, so if we come to know about this thing in earlier stage, like in a cancer case, so the person will get a treatment earlier. Okay, so this is a very good use cases of ML or AI. Okay, so let us start with the first algorithm, which is a decision tree and is an information based learning. So, what is a decision tree? So, the decision tree algorithms is a informative features. In case of decision tree, uh, we have to build an algorithm which identify predictive or informative features. Uh, so, what is this? So, let us try to understand with the small game. Uh, Everyone has played the dumb salad game. Okay, so as you can see in the four pictures, suppose you were asked to identify the persons. There are four people: Brian, John, Afra, and Alfie. Okay, and suppose you have a picture in the cards, and you have to ask the other person without narrating anything. Okay, and by asking a few questions. Okay, okay, whether it's a male or female or something like that. Mm. So, what kind of question will be asked to identify all the persons? Mm. So, there are so many questions, but suppose we consider that is a gender. So first is a man, then the second is a long hair, the third is the glasses, and the name. Suppose if we consider the only these three features, it's about the gender. The first is the gender, then the second is long hair. If you look back to the pictures, okay. And the third is the glasses. Of course, you may notice because this is a black and white pictures. Uh, so you can also consider the skin complexions as well. But uh, for the sake of simplicity, we consider only these three things. Okay. So in order to identify the brand, okay, so is a man, he has no long hair, he wear a glasses, yes, so that person is a brand. This is a speciality. Second is a man, long hair no, glasses is also no, then this is John. Again, no, yes, no, and Afra. So this is this informations we have, right? Okay, now the question is how we can tell the computers how we start by posing a questions in order to identify all the four persons, right? uh, am I getting any answer from the audience? Okay, okay, so the question is, which question would you ask first? See, okay, if we ask first, is it a man, and then we will ask, does the person wear the glasses or not? Okay, right. So in these two questions, uh, if we change the order. If we start by asking the second question first, okay, does the person wear the glasses? Okay, then the situation is like this. Uh, a decision tree means is a yes or no cases only. Okay, so if we start by asking that does the person wear glasses, if the answer is yes, then we can immediately identify that is a person is Brian, because the Brian is the only who wear the glasses, so we can receive the answer. Okay, now but if the answer is no, then we have to ask another question. Okay, do they have a long hair? Okay, so if the answer is yes, then the person is Afra. But if the answer is no, then again we have to pose a one more question. Okay, is it a man? Uh, then if answer is yes, then it's a John, and if answer is no, then it's a Oife. Okay, so this is how we have to ask how many questions? Three questions. One, two, and three. Three questions we have to ask here. Okay. Now, if we, even though the same thing, you may interchange this to second and third. Okay, you can ask this question first: is it a man? Of course, you can do this, but again, the length or the depth of the tree is not changing here. This is one, this is two, and this is the third. So by asking a three questions, we will come to know, or we will be able to identify all the three persons. Okay. When we start by asking a second question first. All right. So if we take the average of this, I'm not going to in much details of this thing, but the average is 2.25. Okay. So the average is 2.25 because, as I said, is a one path, one question long, one part, two question long, and two parts, three question long. So if we take the average of this two, so this comes out to be 2.25. Okay. Now, what happened if we start with question number one? Is it a man? Is it a man? If the answer is yes, then we can easily split this two and this two. Okay. If answer is yes, then the next question will be, does the person wear glasses? Yes and no. Okay. If yes, then that guy is Brian. If no, then the guy is John. Uh, if we come back here and the answer is no, then we shall ask this question. Okay, do they have a long hair? If the answer is yes, then the person is Afra, otherwise is Orphe. So see how many questions we have to ask. One and two. And which has only a two length. Okay. So the length, the average is two. Okay. So what's the big idea here? What's the big idea? The big idea is which question we have to ask first. All right. This is a very simple game, but now the our problem is from where we have to start, which question we should ask first. Okay, so that the entire data set is plated as per the or in a homogeneous set. Okay, so in other words, or in machine learning technology, it is called, we have to identify a most informative question or most informative features that will split the data sets into a homogeneous subsets. Okay, I'm just going back to this part. Look at this figure. uh, if we start by asking the first question, is it a man? Okay, so now we have a, if the answer is yes, then we will get all the persons who are men. If the answer is no, then all the persons who are female. Okay, so That's how we split the data set into a homogeneous part. But if you look at the previous one, okay, so we have a mix type of, it's little bit heterogeneous. Okay, see, again, it's a heterogeneous part. All right, so that's a difficulty here. So how we can measure this? How we can measure this? Hmm. So before proceeding this, let us get familiar with some terminologies of the decision tree. So it's a tree-like structure, but in a tree-like structure, uh, every tree has a root, but this is a root node, or you can say is a starting point, and there are interior nodes and the leaf node. This is I think everybody can understand about this tree. Okay, so I'm just skipping this part. Okay, so in the same way, let us try to get the answer of these questions. Okay, I will tell where or which question should be asked and which feature will be should be considered as a root node. Okay, but let us try to understand by the second example. And suppose we have some data here. There are 14 days, and our problem is whether the given day is good to play a tennis or not. Okay, and suppose we have recorded a 14 days observations. Okay, and the features are outlook, temperature, humidity, wind, uh, and as you can see, this is sunny, overcast, rain. Okay, temperature is again a variable, categorical variable: hot, mild, and cool. It has a three category. Humidity is high and normal, again is a categorical variable. Wind is a weak and strong. Okay, so is a categorical variable having a two categories here. The humidity is a categorical variable having a again a two category, whereas the temperature and the outlook, these two are the categorical variable having a three categories: sunny, overcast, and rain. Similarly for temperature: hot, mild, cool. Okay, now the problem is, suppose we have a this kind of information available to us, right? And if I pose any thing, if I say that if the outlook is let's say sunny, if the temperature is cool, humidity, suppose I don't have any information about the humidity, then I skip this part. And if I say the wind is weak, so whether it's a good day to play a tennis or not. Okay, so how the program or how the computer will answer this using the decision tree. Okay, so that is our problem, and we'll try to solve this problem using the decision tree. Okay, and I get back to that questions also. Okay, so this will be the answer, but see, the answer is this: we have to select the outlook as a root node. We have to select, then these are the leaf node: humidity, play, wind, and finally we will come to know that whether it's a good day or not. Okay, so I should create, this is a little bit uh, more terminologies. I am just avoiding this part. But the main part is, in order to identify how we can identify informative features, like in a game, from which question we should start. Okay, so how we can compute this thing mathematically. Mm. So in order to identify the informative features, we shall use the entropy part. Okay, so what is entropy? So entropy you can consider like a impurity. Okay, so is the inverse of probability. Okay, impurity or the disorders in the elements. Okay, so let us try to understand with. Okay, there is a relationship between, if you have a high probability, then of course you have a low entropy, and if you have a low entropy, then you have a high entropy. Okay, so we'll take a log, and there is a mathematical step, so I'm just skipping this part. This is a formula to compute the entropy. Okay, but let me explain what is entropy in a simple way. Okay, look at the first figure. See, we have a total 12 cards, all the S. And if you pick up any one card from this pack of card, uh, what is the probability of getting this card? The probability is, of course, 1. It's a certain event because all the cards are same. Okay, right? So in that case, there is no entropy. If the probability is 1, so the entropy is 0 because there is no impurity, there is no disorders here. Okay. Now suppose if we add some other cards, so let's say here king is added. Okay, I'm just replacing these 3 cards. And if we pick up a 1 card, then the probability of getting this will be change. Okay, because of introduction of these 3 cards. So there is some impurity. We added some noise. It's not a noise, but impurity. Same thing. If I do the half, then this is 1. So I hope you understood the concept of the entropy. So entropy, what is the impurity? What does it means? Okay. So entropy you can consider like that is the impurity. So whenever we split the data set, we should get the homogeneous data. Okay, all the belongs to the same category or the same structure. Okay, so if we get this, and this we can compute through the entropy part. Okay, and that is a formula, but I'm not going to in details on mathematical things about the entropy, but this is a general concept. Okay, to understand the entropy. Okay, so now Uh, this is again a this called is IT3, but I'm just skipping this thing part. So we shall compute entropy first. Okay, and this is called a information gain. All right. So we shall compute the entropy from the data set. So it is just probability. Okay, because this is based on the probability, and we'll take a log base 2, and this is a probability. So for every level, uh, label means the categories. For the temperature we have 3 levels. uh, for outlook we have 3 levels. So for every level we have to compute how many observations we have, and accordingly we will compute this entropy. And once the entropy is obtained, we'll find out the entropy of the remaining data set. So that is called the information gain. And the higher the information gain will tell us, the higher the information we will receive from this features, or we will receive from or by asking the questions. So that's a mathematical interpretation of this formula. Okay. So look at this part. I'll just demonstrate with a small example. Okay, look at this humidity part, and it has only a 2 category, high and normal. Okay, and if we count this, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and since we have a 14 observations, then the remaining 7 are for the normal. So out of 7, how many has a no and how many has a yes? Okay, so these are no's, these are yes. Okay, this is no, yes, and no. Okay, so if we count the no, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 4 no's, right? And the remaining are yes. So there will be 3 yes. Okay, so this is information out of 7 we have, and of course we have to count the entire no's and yes. So that will gives us the entropy of the entire data set. Okay, how the data set, whether the data set is pure or not. Okay, so this is the way, and the same thing for the wind we can do. All right, and this just for the recall uh, of all the labels of the features. The wind 2 features, humidity has a 2 features, this has a 3 features, and so on. Okay, and the last feature, which is place tennis, is a binary type, so it's a yes and no. Okay, so the computation will take place in this way. Uh, if we have a formula, so we have a 9 yes and 9 no, so total is 14. And if we substitute all the values in this formula, so the probability is getting yes out of 14 is 9 by 14. Okay, and getting no out of 14 is again 5 by 14. It's a very simple calculations, and we have to take the log of that values. And since it's a probability, so and if you take the log of the numbers of less than 1, so that resulted into the negative, so the negative sign comes here. Okay, ultimately we need a positive answer, so the reason for putting a negative answer of this, because of this. Okay, so this is how a simple calculation, it's a very simple calculation, and that gives the entropy of the entire data sets is 0.940. Okay, and now I'm just skipping this. Okay, now in order to compute this, okay, for humidity or for any of the features, we have to compute the entropy part in a similar manner, an entropy part for this category and for this category, high and normal. Okay, and if we club everything and if we compute the information gain, so that will result it into a this value 0.151. All right, uh, we can look here again, right? Okay, so there are 3 positive and 4 negative, and this is a just a simple calculation. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss in detail, but you can verify later on if you wish. Similarly, we will compute the information gain for the other features, which is wind. Similarly for the temperature and the outlook. So we'll have, after all the computations, we'll have this values. For gain, for humid, the value is 0.151. For gain, the value is 0.246. For temperature, the gain is 0.029. And for the wind, the information gain is 0.048. Okay. So the question is, now we have measured something. Okay, we have measured the impurities, and then we again subtract it from the another feature, so that will gives us the information gain. So this value 0.246, it is a highest value. That indicates that if we take outlook as our root node, outlook as a root node. Okay, so that will split the data uh, into more homogeneous sets. Okay, so in this way we will select the outlook, and then again we have a choice for this, we have a choice for this, we have a choice for this. Again we have to repeat the calculations, entire calculations. All right, so this is again a very interesting part, because the outlook has the three features: sunny, overcast, and rain. Now this time what happens, only this much observations belongs to the sunny, only this much in observations belongs to the overcast, and only this much. So we have a total 2 plus 3 5, here 4, and here again 5. So 5 plus 5 10, plus 4 is 10. Okay, but if we look at this overcast, we don't have any no's here, all are yes. Okay, so what does it indicate? If your outlook is overcast, then you should definitely go for to play a tennis. You can immediately say like this. Okay, but what happens here? Okay, how the computations will take place here? So now this becomes our source. So we have to compute the entropy for this data set only, and again we have to do the same things. We have to look the other features apart from the outlooks, like a wind, temperature, and so on. Okay, and repeat the calculations. Okay, so this is the way, and this is a computational output. Okay, if we compute the humidity and if we consider the humidity and compute the information gain, so that's is 0.970. For temperature, the value is 0.570, and for the wind, the value is 0.019. Okay, so again, we have to select a maximum one, because that split the data. This feature split the data into homogeneous part after splitting it from the sunny. Okay, so now the trees will grow from sunny to humidity here. From sunny, so this node will be the temperature. Okay, sorry, humidity. Humidity. All right, same thing for here. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss much about this, but now finally the tree will look like this. Okay, so if we pose any questions, okay, if your outlook is sunny, then you have to go in this direction. Then you have to check for the humidity, whether the humidity is a normal or high. If the humidity is normal, then the day is good to play. Otherwise, not good to play. Same thing as I said earlier. If the outlook is overcast, then don't need to check any other features. You don't need, you don't care about the humidity, you don't care about the wind. You should definitely go for the playing tennis. Uh, but if the outlook is raining, then we have to check for the wind. All right. If the wind is weak, then the play. Otherwise, don't play. All right. So this is how you can interpret the decision tree. So this is our root node. These are the terminal nodes where the answer or the classification will get the answers for our question. Okay. And in between, the internal nodes are nothing but the features or the information that we are providing to the machines. Okay. Which is generally called as a features. Okay. This is the algorithm which is called ID3. The name is ID3, iterative dichotomizer. Okay. Uh, Now there are some other metrics. Instead of computing the entropy, there is another measure which is called the Gini index. Okay, and using the Gini index, we can compute uh, or we can split the data set. We can also consider the weighted sum of the entropy. So there are varieties of way, okay, to get the information gain. This is, as I said, is a Gini index, is a formula. Okay, so I'm just skipping this part. Now the question, you may definitely ask the question, or the question will rise, that what happens if you have a numerical values instead of the categorical values. Okay, like a wind speed we can measures in the numbers. Okay, humidity again we can measures in the numbers, right? So what to do, whether this algorithm or whether this technique can be applied or not? Yes, the answer is yes. Mm. So for that, we need a little knowledge of statistics. Mm. So we can convert any continuous variable into the categorical variables, uh, or you can divide the variables into the classes. Okay. So let's say the wind, if you have a wind, some observations like this, I'll explain through one example. Okay, is a 9, 8.5, then 12.5, okay, 10, something like that. Okay, so you can decide a one threshold. Okay, you can decide a one threshold. You can say that less 10 is a normal, otherwise all the values which are above the 10 is considered as a strong. Okay, so 10 or less, let's say this is 10. Okay, so we can say that this is normal, this is higher, this is again normal, this is higher or strong, whatever you say. Okay, so in this way we can convert any continuous or the numerical values into the categorical values. Okay, so that's the case, and we can apply or we can do the previous calculations, right? So that's the case here. Now I will demonstrate you with one practical example. Okay, this is a small example. Let me start with. If you have any question, then you can ask me in between. I will be more than happy to address your question if you have. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, perfectly. Dear all participants, if you have there any questions to our today's resource person Hardik Soni sir, so you can ask in this chat box. We are very much happy to answer your question.
Sorry. Yeah. All right. So okay. I hope the screen is also visible to you. And see what I'm saying. Let me uh, show it a simple demo. Okay. In the Python, there are good libraries which does this jobs easy. Okay, easily. Pandas and is a diabetic data set, and let me show you what in. Okay, suppose we have a this data set. Let's say, okay, we have this information around 768 rows. So 768 observation or the 768 peoples are there, and there are 9 columns. So 9 columns is the first is the pregnancy, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulins, BMI. Okay, diabetic. This is again a medical terminologies, age, and the outcome. Outcome one you can consider that's a person is diabetic, and zero is person is non-diabetic. Okay, so these are the certain values we have. Okay, and we have a 768 observation. So our problem is based on this information, can we predict or can we say that the whether the person is going to affect diabetic or not? Okay, so this how we can do through the decision tree and what are the important features. This the another application of the decision tree is what are the important features or uh, so that you should take care in order to avoid the diabetes. Okay, that also we can identify from this data sets. Okay, so this is a data set we have. Hmm. There is a very good library in Python. I'm doing or I'm implementing this code in the Python, and it's a very good library which is called sklearn, and wherein you will find all the machine learning algorithms on the code of the machine learning algorithms. Okay, and one of this is a decision tree classifier that we have just discussed. Okay, so using this, okay, and the simple thing, uh, I'm not going to explain the code, but now if we fit the model, it means it is called a training part. Okay, we have a x and y. Why we have take this? Because this is our result. Outcome is our result, so we have to work on the features. So these are the features. Okay, we have to consider this features, and we have to discard or we have to eliminate the outcome variables from the data set. Okay, because we have to work on the feature set only. Okay, so this is a training part, and once we get the training, once we finish the training, uh, we'll have this information. Okay, the decision tree also produces the important features. uh, what is the role, how much the glucose affect uh, in the diabetics, right? The BMI is also important. This is a diabetic P degree functions. I'm not much aware because this is a medical terminologies. It's age, and lastly, the blood pressure. So these five are the important features. Of course, it's based on the data set. All right. Whatever the informations we are providing, so based on that, we will come to know this part, right? Then this thing, how the training and how the testing will do in case of decision tree. So entire data set is randomly split it into the training and testing part. Okay, so we'll have a training set and we'll have a testing set. Okay, and we'll give 80% of the data set for the training sets and 20% for the testing set, just for checking how our models will work. Okay, and simply using this. Okay, this is a prediction, and see the accuracy I have just implemented here. Okay, so our model says that is around 70% of accuracy. Okay, and this is the some another matrix. Based on that we can decide, or we can do the further analysis on this. Okay, so it is around the 70 percentage of the accuracy, right? So which can further improve by checking its another parameters, or by changing some values of the parameters we can further increase the accuracy. Uh, and this model will be embedded into a certain chips or certain programs, okay, wherein you will get the immediate answer. Okay, so this is how the tree will work, and let us see diagrammatically also. See, so as we have seen that the glucose is the main feature, and same thing we are getting here, glucose, then the BMI, again age, and this is how the tree look likes. Okay, so any questions so far? Because I have kept 15 minutes for question answer sessions, so I would be more than happy if you have any questions, and if you ask me any questions.
Dear all participants, if you have any questions, you can write down in this chat box. So,
Or is there any way or medium to see the questions, sir?
no, sir, there is only this platform. That is we are uh, doing this webinar on YouTube platform. So there is one option is there here. There is a chat box.
Okay.
So another participant join with the Facebook. There is also that option. There is
Mm.
chat box also there, so they can ask that. Maybe you describe with the very much beautifully with presentation. So there is a reason. Maybe participants have no questions and they understand very well the full topic.
So I have been asked that there are academicians for the from the different fields. Okay,
Yes, yes.
so if you have any questions, or if
Yeah.
you curious to know, okay,
One.
where you can apply this machine learning concepts in your
Right.
field, so I
There
can
is a,
answer that thing also.
yeah,
Okay.
there is a one question by Nai Kinjal is there, which
Hmm.
types of software used for ML? She asked that, which types of software used for ML?
See, basically for the machine learning algorithms, okay, the Python is very useful for that. Okay, even though nowadays the MATLAB is also providing the machine learning algorithm supports, so you can, if you have a license, then you can use the MATLAB. Okay, but the point is, in case of the machine learning, first stage is you have to pre-process data. The example that I've shown to you, or we have seen, that in that case the data is organized. Okay, we don't have any missing values in the data, we don't, and we don't have any uh, erroneous observation or erroneous measures in the data sets. Okay, so before applying any algorithm, you have to deal with many things with the data sets. Okay, and in order to do that analysis, that is called a statistical analysis, and in order to do that analysis, the Python is very useful. Okay, so you can implement Python. Of course, the second is the R, for the statistical analysis, and of course for the machine learnings. Okay, so whatever the software is to convenient to you, you can use it. Okay, but R, Python, MATLABs. Okay. Hmm. Yes. Any other question?
Uh, any other questions, dear participants? Uh, Maybe sir, our session is continue, or maybe because if session is after session, we can ask to the participants, or session is over, sir.
Yes, I thought I kept just 15 minutes for the discussion parts.
Right.
Okay,
Okay. There is a one
and
question from Neelam
uh,
Panchal, ma'am. Maybe Python
uh,
is easy and no, there is yes. Python is easy and free source. Then why should we go with another softwares? She wants to ask that.
yes, of course. As I said earlier, okay, if your organizations provides the licensed version of the MATLAB, okay, then you can you can go for the MATLAB. But personally, I prefer Python. Okay, so definitely Python is free, so you should go for the Python. But if someone is more familiar with the MATLAB, uh, so I should not stop that guy, or to switch over to the Python. Okay, so it's completely up to you.
Yes, sir. Wonderful, sir. And maybe there is no questions from the participants now because you described very well with your presentation and all. So very much thank you to you, sir. And here the field of this artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning has
Hmm.
measured at a lot in the last decade and changed a lot in the last few years. And AI is a multidisciplinary field whose goal is automate activities and
Hmm.
that presently require human intelligence. The talk
Yes.
introduced the nation of AI and ML and highlight the various applications of AI and ML. The talk focused on developing intelligent algorithm for solving real-time problems using AI techniques. The
Hmm.
creation and application of the intelligent algorithm for computer and machines can be developed by human intelligence technique. So there is very much useful to our today's participants that, and everybody is very much happy with the session. Yes, sir.
Okay. Last, can anyone tell me the drawback, or not a drawback, but the red signals for the AI? What them? Uh,
Okay. So
uh, can anyone? Chalo, if the people is not asking, I should. I think I should ask.
great, great, Satru, sir. Uh, Participants, please answer your the sir's questions in chat
Uh,
box.
hmm. It's not a disadvantage, but see what happens if you automate the things. What happens? Think. Uh, Sometimes it's a requirement, of course. Okay, we cannot deny the requirement to automate the things. Hmm.
There is a one more questions by Dipanjali Baruha.
Hmm.
Will there be any possibility of cybernetic organism due to artificial intelligence?
So what kind of problems that you wanted to address for this? Okay, your objective, the problem that you are going to address uh, is important here. Okay, you cannot apply the machine learning concepts or AI concepts everywhere. Yeah. Okay, coming back to my question. Okay, think that if you don't have a remote in your TV, uh, then remote ना हो तो सोचो what will happen for one day only. Let's say the battery is discharged, or you can't use your TV remote. Hmm?
Uh, Participants thinks about this question. Till
Uh,
times that there is a Dipanjali Baruha right there. I mean, people will be pushed into a machine. When she asked that question, will there be any possibilities of cybernetic organism due to artificial intelligence? So she means that people will be pushed into a machine, right? So
okay.
that is the
Huh.
question.
That's true. Okay. So uh, in order to change, I'm coming to this part, but in order to change the channels, or increasing or decreasing the volumes and all the stuffs, okay, we have to uh, go to the TVs. Okay, right? So every time we have to do this. Hmm? So we are very much dependent on the machine. So that indicates that the people will get the lazy. It may happen. Okay, nowadays, see, even we don't care about, or we don't bother about to remember the URLs. We don't bother about to memorize the spelling, right? because because of the Google, uh, we simply type whatever we wanted to find. Okay, we simply type in the Google, we'll get this. Okay, in a one or two or three URLs. So we don't care about the URLs. True. Hmm. Even though in the spelling also. Ah, is it? Hmm. S- So have you noticed this thing earlier? Ah, because uh, we are rest assured that if we do something wrong, if we type a wrong spelling, the machine will indicate that okay, you have typed the wrong spelling. And nowadays, uh, there are some intelligent softwares which will tells you okay, the sentence is grammatically is not correct. Okay, so it will also help us to choose a proper word. Okay, this is again an intelligence. This is an example of AI. Mm. When you type any sentence and the word is not a proper, it's not appropriate because of the meaning, okay, then there are certain softwares or applications which will guide us. Okay, instead of using this word, you can use this word. Okay, so much dependency. All right. Mm. So far we care about this thing. But if the machine will assist you, uh, will becomes a careless, right? So that's a point, isn't it? Uh, if someone lost the mobile, let's say, do you remember anyone's number? Anyone of your family members? Hardly one or two, right? So I would suggest use AI. Of course, it makes the machine smarter, or it mimics like a human, but use AI smartly. Okay, right? Anyways, any more questions?
Uh, Dipanjali Barua want to share, sir, one thing after
Hmm.
after answer her question. I still remember the film Wall-E, which projected how humans were transformed into emotionless objects and had to
Hmm.
leave this Earth and settle
Hmm.
in a different planet, as the
Hmm.
Earth was union union habitable kind
Okay,
of statement she wants to share.
true.
Uninhabitable. She wants to
Hmm.
share
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. True. True.
So, dear participants, if another questions you can ask. Otherwise, we can go from the for the conclusion part. And if you want to share, sir, anything.
No, I already shared
Yeah, you
many
asked the one
things.
question. Still, participants wants to try answer about that. But
So,
the only right here, very nice session, sir, and compliments only here. Uh,
hmm,
Thank you
okay.
very much. Information session and very informative session. Kind of uh, chats are here. Kind of comments are here. Very nice and wonderful session provided. Great information provided. Kind of excellent session. Thanks to you, sir. Kind of statements and quotes are here. So
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Yes.
So shall we go for the conclusion part, sir, or anything?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very
Okay, sir.
much. Yeah.
Yes. Uh, Thank you very much to you, sir, Hardik Soni, sir. Very wonderful session from your side, and it is a very much wonderfully and useful to our all participants. And we, as UGC HRDC, we are always try to provide you this type of knowledgeable resource person, and you all will get the knowledge about the current requirements of our regular, useful, and in our academic life also. And we, as a Gujarat University, this type of program we are want to provide it every uh, time period of this span. And the Gujarat University is the largest university in the state, catering to the needs of higher education of more than 2 lakh students scattered over 235 colleges, 15 recognized institutions, and 24 approved institutions. There are 34 postgraduate university department of and 221 PG centers. Here I want to share for the consecutive second year, Gujarat University has successful achieved first rank, 5-star rating in the Gujarat State Institutional Rating Framework GSIRF for the academic year 2020-21. GU is thankful to you all the stakeholder and heartily congratulates all for these achievements. So Gujarat University ranked at first in Gujarat and 26th in India for the category. Public state universities under the prestigious Outlook iCare India University Ranking 2019. Congratulations to all stakeholders of Gujarat University. Sir, and here I want to share one thing more about our HRDC. UGC
Yeah.
HRDC of Gujarat University is one of the oldest HRDC in India, and it was known as Academic Staff College earlier. It was
Okay.
established in 1987, and we are also ranked in 16 amongst 66 HRDCs of India by
Great.
NAA's NAC. We are the first in Gujarat, and we have organized more than 700 professional development programs, including Guru Dakshata, FIP, FDP, OP, RC, STC, winter school, summer school, seminars, webinars, workshops, symposia, PhD coursework, etc. And we have imparted training to more than 20,000 research scholars, academicians, and administrations working in colleges and universities of India. So they are also our achievements. Thank you very much to all participants. Thank you very much to Hardik Soni sir. And here I want
Okay.
to thank you our Vice Chancellor sir, our Professor H.A. Pandya sir. And we are also thankful to our Pro Vice Chancellor sir, Dr. Jagdish Bhokilal Bhavsar sir, and our Registrar sir, Dr. P.M. Patel sir. So with this quotes, thank you very much to all, and we will be wants to program this type of webinar recently or regularly. And thank you very much, everybody. We will meet with next webinar. Till time, everybody. Namaskar. Thank you
Namaskar.
very much.
Sure. Yeah.